Now, the American President Donald Trump has urged a naval coalition as Iran says that the Strait of Hormuz is shut for tankers and ships of enemy nations. Now, Trump said that many countries will now dispatch warships to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. However, he has not specified as to which countries are on in this proposal of his. In a Truth Social post, Trump said that nations, especially those affected by Iran's attempted closure of the strait, will be sending in their warships in conjunction with the United States of America to keep the strait open and safe. What's interesting is that he's named countries like China, France, Japan, South Korea and the United Kingdom amongst those that he hopes will contribute their naval vessels. In the social media post, Trump also asserted that the United States has already destroyed about 100% of Iran's military capability. In the same breath, he's conceded that Tehran could still send a drone or two, drop a mine or deliver a close-range missile. He pledged that in the meantime, the United States will be bombing the hell out of the shoreline and will continuously shoot at the Iranian boats and ships out of the water, promising to get the strait open, safe and free. In response, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas has clarified that the strait is only shut for tankers and ships of enemy nations and not of their allies. In a social media post on X, Araghchi said that the much-touted U.S. security umbrella is actually just simply riddled with flaws, and it encourages rather than discourages disturbance in the region. He said that the United States is now begging everyone, including China, to open the Strait of Hormuz. Araghchi further urged the neighboring nations to drive out the aggressor, that is the United States of America. Separately, Mohsen Razeh, a member of the influential body close to the Supreme Leader, said that no American ship has the right to enter into the Gulf. Ali Raza Tangsiri, the naval chief of Iran's IRGC, has said that the Strait of Hormuz has not yet been militarily shut and is merely under control. In a social media post, he hit back against Donald Trump's comments, saying that the Americans falsely claimed the destruction of the Iranian Navy, and then they falsely claimed the escorting of oil tankers, and now they're asking others for backup forces. All right, now joining us on this broadcast, we've got Mr. Bishop Garrison, former senior advisor to the Secretary of Defense and current senior fellow and adjunct professor at the National Security Institute at George Mason University Law School, is joining us live from Virginia in the United States of America. Mr. Garrison, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, let me in fact start off by asking you this. What do you make of this latest post by the American president, where he's now saying that those countries that get their oil from the Strait of Hormuz have a responsibility to try and keep the Strait of Hormuz open?
First and foremost, thank you for having me. That's going to be a difficult task overall for any of the Gulf states to actually complete at this point. We have to do something about the strait. I think that the Gulf countries this afternoon came to both parties in an attempt to find a diplomatic end to the tension and this activity. And it's the hope that that will still be able to happen. We're looking at a conflict that's already taking thousands of lives and displaced hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So something needs to happen. Whether it's going to be that type of pressure on Gulf states, I'm not sure that that's going to have the results that we hope.
Right, but it's not just the Gulf states that the American president is addressing here. He's saying that all those nations that get their oil from the Strait of Hormuz, he says, now should take responsibility to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Now, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi also put out a tweet where he said that Donald Trump is now begging everyone, including China, to try and get the Strait of Hormuz to be reopened. In your assessment, how does this show the American war that was launched by Donald Trump himself on the 28th of February and the plight of the American war at this moment vis-a-vis the Strait of Hormuz, which has been shut for 15 days now?
Yeah, it's having a lot of economic impacts across the world. We've seen the price of oil skyrocket to about 120 plus a barrel already. I think the average price for gasoline, petroleum here in the United States is somewhere upwards of $3.63 now as we sit here. And that's going to take a toll on everyday American lives. It's going to take a toll on our allies as we use that fuel to do a variety of things as it relates to transport for our goods, for our services. So something has to happen in this, or we're going to look at these impacts continuing to increase.
Now, the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians have said, will remain shut for the United States and its allies. And with every passing day, the price of oil will go up. The markets are extremely jittery. And if this continues, then America will go into a recession. The world economy will go into a recession. In your assessment, how deep into economic pain do you think Donald Trump is willing to take the United States into before he can declare victory in Iran?
I think that's a really good question. The White House is going to have to take a step back and look at this strategically. What are we looking to accomplish? We have military goals. We have strategic political goals that need to accomplish in order for us to shift and say that we've accomplished that, and we're going to go ahead and take a step back from this. They really need to be sharp about what exactly those goals are from this type of conflict and how they're willing to move forward and win. Right now, it's getting to a point where we're going to be at a somewhat of a stalemate, and the American people and the world, the global community, are going to ultimately pay the price economically. So I think it's really important for the United States to look at what they're trying to achieve here, for the White House, for the Trump administration, to look at what they're trying to achieve and make a very smart, thoughtful determination about when they're willing to come back to the negotiating table and find a way to end this conflict.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Bishop Garrison, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you for having me.